Oh, hey there. Come on in. We're just about to start. Welcome to My Wife the Dietitian, a fun weekly podcast about nutrition and healthy lifestyle. I'm Rob, and together with my wife Sandra, we invite you to join us on this informative and entertaining journey through the complex world of healthy eating.
Join us each week as we strive to help you with transforming your overall health and relationship with food through up-to-date, evidence-based nutrition information. Is yogurt the new pop? Should it be banned in schools, like many schools are doing with soft drinks? Today, we take a question from a listener who asks, is yogurt really the new soda pop? Rob and I discuss this idea, plus we answer the question, what is the main word to look for on the nutrition facts label when comparing and buying yogurt? Stay tuned to find out.
Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show. Welcome to My Wife the Dietitian. Hello, Sandra.
Hey, Rob.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm hot, though.
Yeah, it's really warm.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Summer has started, it seems.
That's true. Yeah, actually, it's funny because I have our yogurt containers out here in front of me, and I've got to get them in the fridge soon because I want to talk about the labels a little bit.
Okay, we should do that first then.
Well, it's okay.
All right.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about, is yogurt the new pop? That was a listener question I got. Is yogurt the new soda pop?
That's a funny concept. Like, you need to explain that.
Yeah. Well, it was a question, and then I brought it up in a prenatal group, and one of the moms was saying, yeah, I mean, pop has been, outlawed in schools, and they're not allowed to bring pop in the school that she was in. And now they're saying that yogurt might be another one that's looked at as too sugary and kind of villainized as the new pop.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it was,
interesting.
Yeah, some of the food companies that own a lot of different food products. That was the theme of the conversation. And I really wanted to address the question, is it healthy? Like, is yogurt the new pop, and is it healthy? And so that's what it's all about.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I know that yogurt back in the day used to be a health food. I mean, that's what it was, but it's definitely changed. And I can see why, like, it's kind of like changed under the radar. Do you know what I mean? Like, people still think, oh, it's yogurt, it must be healthy. But yeah, a lot of the yogurt's just loaded with sugar and all sorts of things that you probably don't want to be eating. It's far from healthy.
Right.
So that's, I guess, the basis of that question.
Oh, yeah. And it really depends on what you're buying and what you're eating. And like you said, I mean, there's a long standing history about the health benefits of yogurt, and it does have this health halo, and we've talked about that in a previous episode.
We'll link it in the show notes. It was an episode on all the health halos of different products, different food products.
Yeah, and how like they're health foods, or like you eat these and these are superfoods for you.
Mm-hmm.
And yogurt, in its pure sense of 2 ingredients, milk and active culture, is really good for you. It's excellent. But not a lot of people eat it that way. And that's why we're talking about this, because there's a lot of variety. I mean, it's like going down the cereal aisle. There's so many different cereals, and the same with the yogurt section, right?
Oh, yeah. It reminds me of our first episode. We talked a little bit about that in the milk episode.
Yeah.
And how dairy in general has really grown with all these different options now, and, different plant-based options. And yeah, it's getting quite confusing.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, that's a good point, because basically you can make yogurt from any milk base. So it can be goat's milk, sheep milk, cow's milk, or a plant-based alternative. So you can see coconut yogurt or soy yogurts. Remember all that? Remember we did the Gurts, the plant Gurts?
Yeah.
That was a couple summers ago that we did that episode. So if people want to refer back to that one, it was really good because we talked about like the tastes and the health benefits and the nutritional aspects of all of those plant yogurts.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's basically fermentation of the milk sugar, the lactose, and it turns into lactic acid. And that gives it the texture and the tanginess of yogurt.
Okay.
And we know that the active culture of lactobacillus and bifidus helps to improve our gut health. It actually helps to suppress H. pylori, which can be a common reason that people get ulcers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, stomach ulcers.
Okay.
So,
and you said it what does it do?
It suppresses
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So most yogurts have active cultures, but there's a lot of variety in the yogurts. And that's what I want to talk about is, nowadays, a lot of the yogurts on the shelf, like you see the names and they're part desserts, part candy, part cocktails. Like you see the different names, like the pina colada. That's one, part cocktail or part dessert, like coconut cream pie would be a name of one of the yogurts. And then there's additives, like they put M&Ms or jelly beans in yogurt to get kids to eat them. So,
that's funny.
I mean, it's like, is it a health food?
I know. Is it still a health food?
Yeah.
Or is it kind of lost that? Well, they're kind of, like I said, they're using the name yogurt to sort of, I don't know, they're capitalizing on yogurt, but they're making it like attractive to kids, which is a huge market, like because didn't you say some of the pop companies have now started marketing yogurt?
Well, I looked into that and I couldn't find any, like the big companies that actually own any yogurts, but there are different big companies that, like General Mills owns Yoplait and Liberté, and Danone has Activa and Silhouette and Oikos and Danamo, like the little yogurt drinks. Mm-hmm. I couldn't find any
like beverage companies. They're probably all hidden under a different name, under some like master corporate name so you can't find out.
I was hoping that we could talk about some practical tips in terms of buying yogurt and looking at, how to buy yogurt with health in mind. And I know we did an episode on label reading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, way back when. Episode 9, I think. 8 or 9, something like that.
Okay. And also, we did one Nutrition Nuggets 41 was how to buy yogurt. So definitely review that one too. But this is a little bit different because I want to actually talk about kind of the label. If you actually look at the ingredients of your yogurt, the less ingredients, the better, of course, right?
Yeah, always, I think, right?
Yeah. And to know that like plain yogurt has sugar. So plain yogurt has lactose. So there's going to be like 6 to 9 grams of lactose naturally in like 6 ounces of yogurt.
Okay. So that should be on the label.
Yeah. And so when we're looking at flavored yogurt, it's going to be a lot more sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's added sugars.
There's a huge difference in the label when you look at ones with sugar.
Yeah.
Like 20 grams difference.
I know. It's incredible. And that's okay. So do you remember the rule of thumb when we're looking at sugar? If you divide the grams by 4, that equals like a teaspoon of sugar or a sugar cube.
Right.
So if we look at this one here, this plain, Activa plain, it's got no gelatin, it says, and no added sugar. And so 3/4 of a cup gives you 8 grams of sugar. So 8 divided by 4
is 2.
Yeah, so 2 of the sugar cubes or 2 teaspoons of sugar in 3/4 of a cup.
3/4 of a cup, okay.
Yeah, and that's plain.
That's plain. Is that normal for plain? Because I thought there was plain yogurt that had like a lot less than that.
Okay, well this one is Astro Original Balkan yogurt, and it's 3/4 of a cup. So that's the other thing with label reading, making sure that you're comparing the same serving size. Mm-hmm. So 3/4 of a cup is what the serving size is. And then the sugar is 6 grams. So that's 6 divided by 2.
Oh, I thought it was divided by 4.
Sorry.
I was going to say that's there's more sugar in that. So 6 divided, it's like 1.5. 1.5 sugar cubes.
It's hot. I'm so tired right now. No, I'm just joking. Okay, so Yeah, we want to divide it by 4. And you can do this with your cereal too, to look at the sugar and the added sugars. So it's under the like in the nutrition facts, under carbohydrates, it's got fiber and it's got sugars. So you want to look at the sugar, and it says on this Astro, 6 grams of sugar, and we divide that by 4.
Right.
And that will give you the teaspoons.
1.5.
So 1.5. Whereas this Activa plain yogurt is 8 grams of sugar divided by 4.
Right.
Is 2. Okay. So that's the difference with the plain. And both of them are made with milk. So, sorry, the Astro is skim milk and cream and active bacterial culture. And the Activia is skim milk, unfiltered skim milk, cream, skim milk powder, and active probiotic culture. So the bifidus and active bacteria culture. So a little bit more ingredients, but similar amount of sugar.
Exactly. We don't have like a super sugary one in the fridge, I suppose, to compare the sugar one, right?
Well, we actually have the little, the lunch ones, and they don't have a nutrition label. It's on the box, and the box is gone.
Right.
So I don't know that, but I know that generally they can be, 6 teaspoons of sugar, 7, 8.
Yeah. I've seen like upwards of 25 to 30 grams of sugar.
Yeah. Which is divided by 4.
Yeah. It's going to be like 8, 7
teaspoons of sugar in a little cup of yogurt. So yeah, I can see why people are saying, is yogurt the new pop? Because if you're looking at the sugar, and we did these kind of displays in the past where you've got like the can of soda, or like say cola or Coca-Cola or Pepsi, and there's 8 teaspoons of sugar in that can. Right? And that's about equivalent to the yogurt, the sugary yogurt. So yeah, in that sense, I guess it's...
So it's become like the new pop.
Right.
Like in terms of pop's been outlawed. Pop was never good for you. There was never any time that someone ever said pop is healthy. Pop's always been the bad guy, but people drink it. And so now it's been outlawed and it's been labeled as bad. But yogurt has always been thought of as healthy. But kids probably aren't going to eat a big bowl of plain yogurt. And if they want to market a product to kids, they got to put a ton of sugar and make it sweet and fun and colorful. And so now that's kind of the premise, is that they're using yogurt, using the health status of yogurt, but making it kid friendly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like we said, snuck under the radar. Everyone thinks, oh, you got yogurt in your lunch. Oh, and granola bars. Oh, those are all good, healthy things. But yeah.
It's funny you said granola bars, because I have the granola bar container here just to look at so this is like Nature Valley Crunchy Oats and Honey. And it's like the 2 bars, and it's got, for sugars, it's 12 grams of sugar. So 12 divided by 4.
That's 3.
Okay. So 3 teaspoons of sugar in the 2 bars. So 1.5, not too bad.
I wonder if that's for flavor, or if that's for like part of the, because I don't bake, so I don't know the what sugar does. Do you need sugar in order for things to like function properly and stick together, or do you know what I mean? Yeah,
there is a function for sugar for sure, like browning, but you could use other sweeteners. With this one, we're looking at the ingredients, because that's actually the way you find out what something's made out of.
Right.
And the second ingredient is sugar. So first ingredient is whole grain rolled oats. Second ingredient is sugar. And then the third ingredient is golden syrup, honey. And so, yeah, it has, a lot of these added flavorings and sweeteners, and that's what yogurts have too. So if you're buying a flavored yogurt, you're more likely going to be getting added sugars, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And you probably want to avoid artificial substitutes like the aspartame and sucralose, like we did in episode 127. I think it was named diet soda, or...
Oh, the one about artificial flavors or something?
Artificial sweeteners.
Yeah. Diet sodas and artificial sweeteners.
Yeah.
Like
so a lot of the yogurts have those too, like the aspartame and the sucralose. So just try to avoid those, I would suggest, because really when we're eating these ultra sweet foods and we're giving them to our kids and they're getting used to those flavors, it raises the bar for sweetness. And then having a piece of fruit that has just Mother Nature's sweetness just doesn't cut it, right?
Oh, exactly.
That's what happens when we're always eating very sweet foods. And yogurt can be a very sweet food if it's flavored. So some of the other types of sweeteners in yogurt that you might find is monk fruit or stevia. So they actually make them really sweet too. So again, those are better sweeteners to have in your yogurt. But if you can kind of go transition to having more plain or the tart and sour flavors, that's a better.
Such as what?
Plain yogurt.
Oh, that's what you mean by tart? Is
Yeah.
the flavor of plain yogurt?
Wouldn't you call it tart?
Oh, absolutely.
Or
Yeah, no,
sour?
I just thought you meant like lemon yogurt or something. I'm just thinking that's still like
yeah,
a sugary flavor.
That's true. Yeah, good point. That's so true.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned before too, and we've been doing this for quite a while, and it's totally acceptable as far as flavor goes. Plain yogurt and then fresh fruit, and you just stir the fruit in, and you've got kind of the same thing, but it's a way healthier option.
I'm nodding my head. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, or honey or your own vanilla that you put on there. And, using yogurt in different ways. So it doesn't always have to be sweet. You can use it for like tzatziki dressing. So it's a savory, like in savory dishes. There's lots of cultures in the world that use yogurt in a savory way. And it's healthy, because you're not getting all those added sugars and sweeteners.
Exactly.
And so number one, avoid sugar as a first ingredient, because there are yogurts out there that have sugar or sugar names as first ingredients.
You mean there's any yogurt, not just flavored yogurt, but any yogurt, try to avoid it having sugar as first ingredient?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be plain. It wouldn't be the plain yogurt. It would be the flavored yogurt.
Yeah.
Okay. The plain yogurts tend to just have very minimal ingredients like milk and the active culture.
Their sugar comes from the lactose, you said.
Yeah.
It's not added sugar, so it wouldn't be on the ingredient list. Like sugar wouldn't show up on the ingredient list.
Yes, it would.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to mention that 6 to 9 grams of the sugar on the plain yogurt ingredient list is actually natural sugar from the lactose.
But as far as the list of ingredients, what would it say? It would say lactose.
Yeah, skim milk, lactose, or the active culture. So milk, cream, active culture, those are the ingredients.
Okay, but it doesn't say specifically sugar. That's what I'm saying. Like they don't actually put sugar on the label.
They do in flavored yogurts, yes.
Yeah, in flavored yogurts, yeah. But not in plain yogurt. Okay, we're on the same page.
I think my main theme is to try to get people to eat more plain yogurt and sweeten it their own way and get away from the flavored. It's a real tough sell for a lot of clients I talk to. It's really tough for people that have been eating yogurt for years and they think plain yogurt is gross, or they just, they don't like that sour tart taste. But really, if you want the benefits of yogurt, that's the way to get the benefits, because you're really adding, like if you're having flavored yogurt, you're adding a lot of sugar to your diet.
Mm-hmm. I was one of those people. I always used to buy flavored yogurt, and I was under the assumption that yogurt is healthy and they're all the same. So I'm going to buy flavored because it tastes better. And I would eat it like by the bucket load thinking, oh, this is healthy for me. I'm getting yogurt, I'm having this instead of ice cream, or, it's healthy. And I used to eat it with all sorts of stuff. And then I think it was one of the podcast episodes we did, and we were talking about label reading, or I don't know. I just became more aware of reading the label. And I looked one day when I was shopping, and I just about fell over when I saw how much sugar was in flavored yogurt and they're all different. Like there's some that are reasonable. Some have like 15 or 16 grams, which is still a lot. But like I said, some are like 30 grams, 29, 30 grams of sugar. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And so I stopped buying flavored yogurt and started buying the nice, thick Greek yogurt that was plain. And yeah, just getting used to that. Like I just stopped cold turkey because I just thought that is a whole lot of sugar that I don't need, especially because I ate a lot of yogurt.
Right.
And yeah, it was pretty easy once I saw it, like with my own eyes kind of thing. And I wanted to make that change. Yeah, it was easy. And then I just found different ways to eat yogurt that made it taste good. And it's all about what you add to it.
Absolutely. That's the power of the grocery tours that I do with classes, with kids, with adults, the nutrition tours. And we actually look at the labels together and we like compare. Because, you know, when you go shopping, you're often like really busy. You're on autopilot. You just grab the same items that you always grab. But if you actually spend a bit of time, you know, once a month or once every quarter, or whatever it is, to just look at labels and compare products, you can really make a difference in terms of the products you're buying and the health impacts of, you know, the added sugars and the different additives that are in the different products.
And what companies do, like that box of granola in front of you right now is a perfect example. They know that you don't have time to sit and read the label. So they're going to, on the front of the box in big letters or a big picture, they're going to put something on there that makes it look like it's really healthy. And on the box of granola that we have, there's a big thing with honey dripping off of it. So it's like, ooh, honey, that's good for me. I'm going to buy that one because it's got honey in it. But if you read the label, you'll realize that there's probably like 2 drops of honey, 8 buckets of sugar, and all this other stuff that you probably don't want to eat, but because they added the 2 drops of honey, they can put that picture on the box.
Right.
And then you're convinced, right?
Yes.
So it's so important to
buyer beware.
And I know that because I've done that. I was like, oh, this one looks healthy. You know, you buy it by the picture, by how the box looks, how the label looks, right?
Or the health halo status.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So it's really important to try to read the labels. Like Sandra said, you can't do it every time, but once in a while, just get familiar with some of these products.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you said you buy Greek, which is a lot of times we do have Greek yogurt. The ones that I mentioned that I read the label here are not Greek. They're just the non-Greek. But just to be aware that avoid Greek style. So the Greek imposters, because some of the ones say Greek style, and they actually have a lot of thickeners at it to make it more like Greek. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, like cornstarch and gelatin and gums and pectins. So they add ingredients to thicken up the product, the yogurt. And it's more like Greek, but it doesn't have that protein that you want. Like the Greek yogurt is because it's strained through cheesecloth and it's got more protein per gram.
Oh yeah. That's the other thing about Greek yogurt that I liked. It had way more protein than the regular flavored stuff.
Or unflavored, the plain.
Or that too, yeah.
Yeah. But remember, you do lose a bit of the calcium. So the regular plain Icelandic yogurt has more calcium than the Greek. The Greek has more protein and less carbs, but less calcium. Because when they drain off those, the fluid went through the cheesecloth, you lose some of the calcium-rich fluid.
Right.
So so be aware about those, Greek style, it would be called, like Greek style, not like actual Greek. And then, the other thing is like, don't assume that non-fat means healthy with yogurts.
Oh, for sure.
Because a lot of times if they're going to use a low-fat milk, they could be adding lots of sweeteners, lots of sugars, lots of additives to make up for that loss of taste and texture.
Right.
That's why reading labels is so important. And we did a whole episode with Bonnie Taux-Dix on busting nutrition myths. And she has written a book all about reading labels. Read it before you eat it.
Oh, right.
Which is a great title for her book there.
It's like a manual that you'd take shopping with you.
Yeah.
It explains everything.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's such a great resource. And yeah, with yogurt, it's difficult to buy, but you can do it because there are healthy yogurts on the shelf, or you can make your own, like fermented milk. And if you're lactose intolerant, most people that have a lactose intolerance can still digest yogurt because that lactose has been processed or turned into lactic acid from the fermentation process.
Right, exactly.
So hopefully that answers the question, is yogurt the new pop? And it really depends. It depends on what yogurt you're buying, what you're sending in the lunchbox with your kids,
Yeah.
A lot of the yogurt drinks are pretty, we got lots of sugars too.
Yeah, don't assume they're healthy just because it says yogurt. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that, Sandra. That's good information to know, good reminder for a lot of people too, I think. And like we said, read the label. Take your time one day when you're shopping. Give yourself an extra little bit of time once in a while just to be able to read some of those labels of some of these products, especially the ones that have the big health halo, like the messaging on the box that's trying to convince you to buy it. The cereals, the granola bars, the yogurts, a lot of those are trying to say, hey, we're really good for you, buy us. But, once you dig a little deeper, you'll realize it's not quite as healthy as it seems. So thanks for joining us. Check out our website if you want more information about what we're doing. We've got a great blog on there with all sorts of information. We've got a weekly newsletter you can sign up for as well. That's on the website. You can email us your questions like our listener did today. Our email is mywifetherd@gmail.com, and our website is mywifethedietitian.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. You can message us there. You can make comments there. You can just give us a thumbs up, like us, follow us, whatever works. It all helps us, and it helps other people find us too. And speaking of that, if you have friends that you think would be interested in the show, share it with them. Send them a link to one of the shows that you liked, and get them on board too, because everybody needs to learn a little bit more about nutrition and just be reminded of a few things in order to stay healthy. So we would appreciate that as well. You can also rate and review the show anywhere you listen to it. Just give us a thumbs up. You can write a little review if you want, but just the thumbs up, like I said, helps other people find it, and it helps give us some feedback, let us know that we're on the right track, and it is all very much appreciated. So we'll be back Wednesday with Nutrition Nuggets. So until then, have a great week.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.